Hey guys, so this is our Eleanor Burns Block of the Month Sampler quilt. We are on block 9. I'm really sorry for not getting these videos out at the first of the month. I had intentions of doing them before the first and getting them posted on the first, but the last couple of weeks just fell apart on me. So anyway, so we are doing, this is block 9. I'm looking in the book. I counted it to make sure. We're doing the Arizona block. I'm not particularly thrilled with this because of all the half square triangles. I do not like half square triangles. But anyway, so you will need a light, a dark, and 2 medium fabrics for this block. You're going to need 1 6-inch square of light, 1 6-inch square of dark, 1 3x6 rectangle of light and of a first medium, 1 each, 1 5.5-inch square light, which I think I might need to go recut mine. I think I only cut it at 5. And 1 7-inch square of dark. And then 4 2.5 by 4.5 rectangles of your first medium. 4 2.5 squares of your light. And 1 4.5-inch square of your second medium. So, okay. Now, I know somebody had said on another video, you know, there's easier ways to make these half square triangles and stuff, and I know that. I totally understand. But when I started this, I decided I wanted to do it the way the book said. You know, her methods are from a long time ago, and I wanted to learn them, and so here we are. I can't say I agree with them or that I like them very much, but I'm going to do the whole quilt with the methods that she uses and teaches in the book, and so you know, I thought I might well learn something new. I mean, you never know. So, anyway, the first thing we're going to do is take our 6-inch square of light and dark. Yes, light and dark. And the 3x6 rectangles of the light and I believe it was the first medium. Let me double check. Yes, first medium. And we're going to be making half square triangles out of those. Now, there's a diagram in the directions, and we've already done it this way before, but this is what they're having you do. These are 6 inches, so you find your dividing line here, and then you go from corner to corner all the way around. We are not sewing on these lines. These are just cut lines. We are going to sew on both sides of these all the way around. These are on our 6-inch light and dark squares, and we are doing half of that on the 3x6s. So we'll sew on both sides of these lines here. This center line is just a cut line. So, yeah. And like I said, I know it doesn't make sense, and I know there's 100 other ways to do these easier, but like I said, I just wanted to do them the way the books do them. You can do them however you want. You know, whatever works for you. No quilt police here. I just wanted to kind of explain why I'm doing it the way I am, because I know people are watching these videos and going, what is wrong with her? She needs to get like with the 20th century or something. But anyway, all right. So we're going to sew these together. Here we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can see. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to start on one side and just like go around. This is really tough for me to make sure I have my 1/4 of an inch on each side of these lines, but because it's like backwards to me. But that's okay. You know, we get, I don't know, kind of set in our ways or whatever, and just you get comfortable with doing things a certain way, and I just thought it'd be kind of cool to learn something different. So I'm cutting in between after each one. You don't have to. I mean, you could just kind of pull your thread out a little bit and just continue, but okay, so now I'm going to sew on the other side of the line, 1/4 of an inch, and I guess I should start back there. Okay. And then on the 3x6 rectangles, we're just going to sew on each side of these lines right here. So I'm going to go, just find a starting point if you're doing it this way, whatever makes sense to you. Okay, now I'm going to go on this other side of this line. Yeah, this way here. Okay, so then we're just going to cut these apart. I'm going to go ahead and cut on these dividing lines first, and then just turn it a little bit and cut on these drawn lines that we sewed on either side of, and we'll have some little half square triangles. Ooh, these are going to be tiny. I have never really been a fan of half square triangles. I mean, I've made a bunch of them, but I am certainly not crazy about them. Okay, and so on this one, I'm going to do the dividing lines first also. Cut right on that line. And then just cut these all apart, just like this. Easy peasy. I didn't count, but it looks like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It looks like we're going to have 12 half square triangles. So that's a lot. I'm just not crazy about them, but you know, a lot of quilts have them, and I know there's a lot better ways and methods to do this, but it is what it is. All right, we got those all cut apart. So then we are going to, I'm going to trim mine down before I press them. I am using a quilt in a day, which, if I ain't mistaken, Eleanor Burns makes that too. Half square trim up ruler. One side's whole numbers and the other side has halves. And I believe we are squaring these to 2.5 inches. These are going to be witty bitty. So this new ruler, she had another one. I had the other one. This one has the little notches so that you can get rid of your dog ears all at one time while you're trimming, just to make it that much, save you a little bit of time cutting all those off after you get it pressed open. So, okie dokie, we need 12 of those. Okay, so once you have them pressed, you should have 8 of your dark and 4 of the light. And now we're going to make some 4-patch units. So you'll have your 4 2.5-inch squares that are going to go here. 4 of your dark and light that are going to go here with the color to the inside. And then the other 4 are going to go right opposite of that so that the dark colors touch like this. Then your 4 medium and background or light is going to go to the outside. So you want white to touch in the center and your darks to touch right there. I know you can't see it on the camera, but this is my medium right there. So then we're just going to sew them together. I'm just going to chain piece them all. And, you know, I'll do these 2 first, these, then, you know, just like that. And then all I got to do is cut them apart in sets of 2 and sew them together. So, yeah, let's do that. All right, so I'm going to take my top 2, put them right sides together. We're going to sew 1/4 inch down the side. And then I'm going to take my 2 bottoms, put them together. And then I'm just going to chain piece all these through, and then when I cut them apart, like I said, I can cut them in sets of 2 and just flip them over. They'll be attached in the right order. So I'll do my next top 2, and it will just make it so easy to make sure I don't get nothing flipped around going the wrong direction. Then my bottom 2, and just like that. Okay, so I'm going to cut these apart in sets of 2 because these are going to get sewn together. These will get sewn together, these and these. So then I can just open these. I'm just going to finger press to one side, or the opposite sides, I'm sorry, so that we can get them to nest. And just flip them over and sew them together. So you'll have 4 of these little units here. Let's see if I can get my seams to nest, or as close as I can. Just like that. Okay, so we're going to press our little units open. And these are kind of small, so if you know, they may get a little wonky on you, but you can use a little steam, good hot iron, and get them pretty straight. If you need to just, you know, trim just a little bit, you can. So you will have 4 units that look like this. So your mediums down here, and these 2 are touching in the center. Okay, so next we're going to take our 7-inch square of dark and our 5.5 inch, and we're going to center the 5.5 inch on here. Just try to make sure your corners are going to match up. I drew a line on mine. You can fold it, or, you know, however you need to do it. Just try to get it as centered as you can. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, and then we're going to sew on both sides of this line just like it was a big half square triangle. And so I'm just going to start where the 5.5 inch square starts. You can sew off all the way off if you want to, but the last time I did these, I found you didn't really need to. Okay, now we're going to cut this in half. Okay, so we're going to cut this in half, corner to corner on the drawn line. And just make sure you've got your 1/4 inch seam allowance on both seams. Okay, so we've got 2 squares, so we're going to press this, but we're going to press it to the dark side, which is our larger triangle. So we'll just flip this over. So we'll do this one. I do kind of like this method for the flying geese. I've never been very good at flying geese, but this seems like it's a little more forgiving because you can trim everything down, and so I do like that part of it. Okay, so dark up here, light down here. So what we're going to do is make them opposite. We want dark down here and light up here. Now, this is the trick to this method. You are not lining up your seams. They will not lock. You just line up the entire block, and it should be almost exactly the same size. And mine is. So just off just a wee bit. Like I said, your seams will not nest there. This is totally out of the ordinary, what we're used to. But that's okay. And we're going to draw a line on the back from corner to corner, and we're going to come across the seams. Do not draw it with the seams. We're coming across the seams. Just make sure you have opposites. So your dark and your lights here, and that should be the same on the other side. So I'm going to go corner to corner and draw a line here. And then we're going to sew on both sides of the line, just like half square triangle. Alright, I'm going to bring you over here. And like I said, your squares should be pretty close to the same exact size, so it should match right up. Just make sure your seam doesn't get flipped underneath your sewing machine. And then we'll come down this other side. Cut this one apart. All right, so we'll trim this apart right on this line there. Now this is going to give you 4 flying geese. We only actually need 3 for the block. But let's press this open. And at this point, it really isn't going to matter which side, so just press it open. And you're going to have a crazy looking block. But we're going to get a flying geese out of each side of that. So now the flying geese that we want is going to have the white for the body part, and this is going to be, the dark color is going to be for your wings. And so I may need to get my other little ruler. Here we go. So we want them to be 2.5 by 4.5. So we want to make sure we leave 1/4 of an inch up here so that we don't lose our point here. So I know it might be kind of hard to see on the camera, but I am going to go, I want 2 1/4 for my center line here. That'll give me 4 1/2, and it'll make it even on both sides if I make my little center point 2 1/4. So I've got that there. And here's my 2 1/2 line. I want to make sure I've got 1/4 of an inch up above that. And I'm going to make my first cut. Okay, and then I'm going to flip this around. Make sure my 2 1/4 mark is on the point again, which will put me at 4 1/2 over here. And then I want to go 2 1/2 down here. So I'll trim all of that off. But I should be exactly center. And voila. So there's our first flying geese. I'll go through that again on this other part. So our center, our flying geese is 4 1/2 long. So half of that is 2 1/4, and we want to put the 2 1/4 mark right on our point, right there. And then make sure we're up by at least 1/4 of an inch for when we sew it together. Don't worry about if the bottom's crooked or anything down here. You're going to have to trim that anyway. So just make sure you're at least past the 2 1/2 inch mark there. And if you are, it should be good. You'll flip this over. And again, put your 2 1/2 on the point. Should be 4 1/2 on this side. And then measure down here on the bottom to 2 1/2. Just like so, and trim it off. Easy peasy. Now, like I said, this method will yield 4. We only need 3 of these flying geese. Okay, so correction, you do need all 4 of your little flying geese units. I don't know what I was thinking. And then your other 4, like your first medium, 2 1/2 by, I believe it was 4 1/2 triangles, and we're going to sew those together. Man, this block's got a lot of steps in it. I can't imagine doing a whole quilt of these. I guess I'm lazy. I'm a lazy quilter. Alright, so we're going to sew those together. If you put your flying geese on the very top, you can watch your point and make sure that when you sew across above your little seam line there, and you won't lose your point. But if you left yourself 1/4 of an inch or just a little bit more, you should be fine and not lose your point. So we're just going to sew those together. We want the light medium to go at the point of our flying geese. There's really good diagrams in the pattern for you to follow. Okay, and then we are going to press these open. Just like so. I'm pressing to the medium there because it's just less bulk. And then the next step is to lay our block out. All right. Okay, so you'll need those pieces, these 4 pieces, and your center square, however you wanted it to be. All right, so I'm going to go with my center square here. Now this has got, these go in the corners. Now the way they did this block made it really simple without having to do a whole bunch of little half square triangles together. This is way easier than by making these separate units. Right there. This goes in the center here. This one goes right here. That one's going to go right there. Oh yeah, that made this block way easier than... I really wish I'd have picked different colors for the fat quarter bundle when I started this, but you know what? We're following through. Maybe it'll be pretty when I get the quilt done. I don't know. Oh, that looks kind of crazy, doesn't it? It's got that. Maybe I should turn it that way. I look at it on the camera and I'm like, well, that looks really weird, like it's got stripes. So, okay. So then it's a big 9 patch at this point. You're just going to sew these together like this and this. And this, and then add these, and you'll have it done. So let's go over here. Yeah, that went together way easier. I was looking at that, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much to this. I don't know. I'm going to hate this block, but it's actually doing the units really made a big difference. I would have never thought of doing that. I would have been over there doing like little tiny pieces. Sometimes I can't be, I'm not the smartest. Okay. Alright, then all we have to do is open these up and sew these onto there. So this one got a little wonky on me, but I think I can. Get it to straighten up, and especially once I iron it. So then we'll open all these up. I'm gonna put the center seam, the center row seams to the inside. That's just kind of where they want to go. These I will press to the outside. There's gonna be a little bulk there, but it'll be okay. We just got so many things coming together right there that, and so this one will go to the outside. You could iron these first. A lot of times I go ahead and iron the seams just so that they're a little flatter while I'm trying to sew them, but I've been having pretty good luck doing it this way. So I just know for me that it, you know, like I said, I don't know why. It always just seemed like it was better if I pressed those before I put the rows together, but we're rolling with it. Okay, do this one and we'll have our block done. And there is a few little seams here that, you know, you can kind of match up a little bit as you go. Yay! There we go. Let's get her pressed open and see what we got. I can then see I'm going to have to put a little starch and steam on it. It's just a tad wonky. Now this block should come out 12.5 inches unfinished. 12 inches finished. So whichever way you like to say for yours. Actually, this isn't too bad. I can live with it. Like I said, I done started. I'm going to see it through. Even if it's the ugliest quilt on the planet. We're going to see this through. Yeah, a little bit of starch. I've just got just a little wave right there, but I think it, you know, I can starch it and get it to pull out, and there's our block. That center block is kind of crazy, doesn't it? Because it looks like stripes. It's really not. Huh. Anyway, that's it. I don't know. Like I said, this is probably going to be the ugliest quilt ever, but hey, I'm following through. I'm gonna do it. So anyway, there is our block. This is the Arizona block, block 9. We're on 8 on our All Seasons, 9 on the Eleanor Burns. And yeah, I'll put the written instructions down in the link in the description. That's it. Have a great day, guys. Oh, and don't forget, I don't really monitor this channel, so if you do, need to have a question or anything, dmg719@gmail is my email. You can get a hold of me that way. Like I said, I'm not on YouTube a whole heck of a lot, but I really don't monitor the channel just very infrequently. So if you leave a comment or something, I may not see it. So, okay. We'll see you next month.